Hello, welcome everybody. This is not Purge, but I will be bringing you a replay analysis from this very good friend of mine, Rubick, who asked me to do a replay analysis of his game to see what he can improve on. It's actually not a friend of mine. Actually, I have no idea who this person is. It's just this guy, random guy on Game League, who asked for a quick help on his Rubick play, so he can know how he can improve. So let's get into it. So what's it going to be? It's going to be a mid SF, it's going to be a carry, PA with an offlane, third shaker, and Rubick and CM support. So it's going to be something like a trilane, but the CM is, if she plays properly, it's a jungling CM. CM is a jungling hero, so it's more of a dual lane with the CM keeping some presence in lane to zone out the offlaner. I hope that's how it happens, and I don't know what skill bracket it is, so it could be 1k, it could be, 4, 5, 6, 7k or whatever. I have no idea what the bracket is. The CM does buy the courier and the ward, so let's see what Rubick buys. Okay, that's actually pretty horrible. I hope you go back to buy something else. Alright, so you start off with no regen, and that's pretty damn bad. What you should have started off with in most situations, if you are buying at least 1 or 2 wards, and you start off with a windlace, tango or 2, and some clarities. And the reason why you do that is so that you can have some sustain in lane, because you're not going to be able to ferry out the courier to yourself. You don't want to go back to lane to heal up or whatever. So you definitely need some health and mana regen, and a windlace is very nice for an early game, or even you keep it all the way up to mid game until you go all 6 items, so you can have some movement speed. But at this point, because Ian bought both the wards and the courier, you could have even gone straight for a brown boots and a tango and clarity, or 2 clarities. But you just have 2 iron branches, so you're not going to be able to trade with the offlaner at all, and you're going to have some hard time zoning out the offlane. I don't know why you did this. I have no idea. This is actually pretty bad. You put yourself at a very big disadvantage in the early game, at the start of the game. So what you want to be doing here, CM is going to be jungling, and occasionally, hopefully, she's going to be pulling this camp. So she's going to be denying this whole creep wave every minute or so often. But what you want to be doing is definitely you want to be right clicking the offlaner and zoning him out. That's what your job is. Even if you are a solo support here, that's what you should try to do. And if that does not work, then you want to go to pulling and denying XP to the offlaner. And your main job, right? If you do this, your job properly, then the offlaner is level 1, you're level 3, your carry is level 4 maybe, and the offlaner is still level 1. And he's right here, so what you should be doing, we both should be going here and harassing him and pushing him out the lane, but neither of you are doing that, so that's actually pretty bad, because he's actually getting everything he wants off of from the offlane. And in fact, he's actually getting some farm as well, so that's pretty bad. Looks like you are gonna pull this side camp, but you pull it too late, and you put it in the wrong place. So what you should have done is you should have pulled it at 53, and you should have pulled it here, because right now your creep wave is already here, and when they're already here, they're gonna go to these creeps. So if you pulled it at 53 and you pulled it here, then the creeps would have gone up. So this is actually quite a good thing that you did for an attempt. Sometimes happens. You pulled 1 second too early, happens. This is what you should be doing, This is what you should have been doing from minute 0, as soon as not minute 0, of course, I mean, from the second that you saw Sand King, when he was, let's see how much XP does he have. He's almost level, is that a Sand King? Okay, yeah, he's almost level 2, and this is pretty bad, because one more creep kill in the area and he's level 2, and you guys are still level 1, so that's actually pretty huge. You should have done this. You guys should have done this from the start, and made sure he's like, this is diving. This is pretty bad. Hope he doesn't die. Okay, so you should have done this much earlier on, and right now that you should stay here. You zone him out, and you should stay here. You should not let him get close to the creeps anymore. but you actually don't do that. So you retreating to the jungle, maybe to stack. So this is the second mistake that you've done so far in the lane. You're giving the well, it's the same mistake that you're giving the offlaner way too much, and this is the issue with. I think this is definitely not 4K. You're giving the guy way too much XP. You're giving him way too much, and you triple stack the camp, so you're not even gonna. Okay, a couple of things here. Pause it. So roughly below 3.8, 3.9K, people, well, even actually below 4.3K, people have a hard time um, doing a effective tri-lane because people don't understand the lane mechanics and tri-lane mechanics and how to zone out the offlaner and all that jazz. So what you want to do if you're like if you don't understand that very well, or if you're in a lower bracket, just avoid tri-lanes. Don't do a tri-lane at all. Just do dual lanes like 2-on-2, or have a jungler or something like that, but don't do tri-lanes. That's not going to work out. It usually doesn't work out unless you understand how tri-lane works very, very well. Second thing is that you never ever want to have more than two camps. More than two camps here stacked here for a pull, because what's gonna, unless you have a very nukey person like I don't know, Dazzle maybe, but even then you most likely don't want to do this, because what's gonna happen is you will see that when you do pull this, which I hope you pull it, not CM. Well, let's see what happens. But when you do pull a 3 stack here, what's going to happen is your entire wave is going to be denied, and that's really nice. That's nice that the Sand King does not get anything, but that time that you spend to stack this and pull this and stand here to get the creep denied, you're not getting any XP by that at that time, and your comeback XP comeback mechanic is this dual camp, because when your creeps or you clear out this entire camp, you get a shit ton of XP, which you're not getting from the lane. So two things happen: you deny a whole creep wave worth of XP to the offlaner, and you get two camps worth of XP. That's what happens. That's what you want to be doing. You want to be why are you watching? Are you watching this, or am I? Yeah, you are watching this. So you actually end up getting XP and denying XP to the offlaner. At the same time, your carry is getting the lane XP, so she's getting more XP than you, and you guys are getting the most out of the lane. That's what the tri lane should be like. But you didn't even pull this, and you've got a bottle. That doesn't help Rubick at all. Okay, another thing. First off, you've got a bottle. You don't have movement speed. Fine bottle has got some nice health and mana regen, but at this point, you don't need that much mana regen. You've got a CM who's maxing out her aura, which is really nice, and also you've got an SF in mid who's going to be taking the runes. You don't want to take runes from the mid SF at all. Bottle does not help Rubric. That's a guaranteed. And on top of that, you've got a shit ton of mana regen from CM aura, and your mana is full. You should be nuking the Sand King as often as possible from like the whole time. Actually, when you start off the game, I actually didn't have managed to tell you this earlier, but when you start off the game, you want to use one. It doesn't matter what hero you are. You want to use one of your spells to nuke the enemy as soon as possible, because you want your mana to go on cooldown. It's the most efficient and effective thing to do. And instead, you've got a whole lot of mana regen, you've got a bottle, and you don't use any of your spells to harass the offlaners. That's actually pretty huge. I hope you clear out this camp. Now, this is really good pulling this camp because it gives you a whole lot more XP, but you're not actually doing that. So you're just pulling creeps. All right. As important as it is to deny the offlaner the creep waves and farm, it's as important that you get that XP from the creep waves, because you want your support to level up slower, because you want the carry to be leveled up. He actually worded in here. All right. So as I said, you're not gonna get any of this farm, any of this XP, because you managed to kill what two creeps here total. Ideally, you want to clear out the entire camp, but you're not going to be able to, because there's a 3 stack here. The two mistakes you made. First mistake, you double stacked this, which was a good thing. You pulled it, and then the mistake you made is that you didn't stick around to take the XP. That's huge. Second mistake, the same thing here. Well, the first mistake you triple stacked it, which is not gonna allow you to clear out this camp to get the most XP. And then when you pull it, you don't nuke it. You could have possibly nuked it to make sure that it does go down because you do reduce their damage as well as nuking them. So maybe you still managed to get some XP. Okay, maybe you still managed to get more XP than you did get. And the third mistake here is that you lifted this guy way too early. The way you should have done this is that you right click him a little bit. If he tries to go on you, then you lift him to throw him away. Or if you're CM and you call CM and what's his name, PA, right here, right now, you tell them come to me, and then you start to go on him. And if he sandstorms like this, you pick up this creep and throw at him, and you stun him, and you cancel his sandstorm. Another thing what you should have been doing, or CM could have been doing, is stacking. You have an SF, and SF takes stacks really quickly. So this triple stack here, you should have told SF, mate, come here and take this triple stack, huge stack for you. So that would have been pretty huge. Do you not have TP off cooldown or something? Yeah, you have a TP. You should have TP'd here in mid. You're actually watching mid as well. And right here, you should have TP'd mid and given a bottle charge to SF. And maybe a bottle charge to CM. Yeah, definitely right here you should have TP'd. Last case, like right here you should have TP'd, but you didn't let your SF die. So your life is not worth much, but the core's life, what's it called, PA and SF's life is worth a lot. So you definitely want to be, like, this is SF's first death, and it's at 7 minutes in, so he's been playing decently. So you should definitely have TP there to help your SF, and even if you have to die for that, that's fine, as long as SF doesn't die. So that's actually kind of huge, and you need to be stacking now for SF. You're roaming a lot, I've noticed. You should be sticking around with your cores, you should be sticking around with PA, or you should be sticking around with SF. You definitely are using your spells inefficiently. You're just throwing the spells out willy-nilly. Like your spells. Okay, so what does a Rubick do, or most supports? You essentially, your contribution to any fight, any team fight, is a 22-second cooldown telekinesis and a 10-second, let's just say 10-second because it's gonna be level 4 soon. 10-second cooldown Fade Bolt, and what the Fade Bolt does is it reduces their damage as well as nuking them. Nuke is okay, but it's more the damage reduction, which is quite huge in a team fight. I mean, the nuke is pretty big as well as 300 nuke. So what you need to be doing is throwing out a Fade Bolt as often as possible, and as soon as it comes off cooldown, and you want to wait for a good opportune time to use telekinesis. Definitely don't use telekinesis just because you have it off cooldown. Like right here, you didn't really need to use telekinesis on the Sand King because he's already used his stun. So you just use his stun right now. His stun is like 10-second, 11-second cooldown, 11-second cooldown. He's not gonna have stun. But the Juggernaut, you should have stunned. You should have lifted the Juggernaut here, definitely, as you can obviously see now. You are walking a lot, so I've noticed this like quite a lot. You need to TP in lane. Because both your cores are here, you don't want to be anywhere else. You don't need to TP anywhere else. So you TP right here and you stay near the SF. You need to stay near the SF a lot more because this PA is just AFK farming. So let her AFK farm, that's fine. I think she's got a Battle Fury, or she's going for a Battle Fury. Yeah, she's going for a Battle Fury. She's just AFK farming. She's going to be AFK farming most of the game, so that's fine. But you need to be making space with and for SF. The SF has got 1 kill, 1 death, so that's not huge. That's not too bad. That 1 death is actually, you could have prevented it as well, so it's kind of your fault as well. So you could definitely be helping SF out a lot more, and I hope you get this kill because this is definitely a kill. Oh wow. Okay, so two big things happened here. Number one, you you stood around right clicking. Again, what you want to be doing is you go whatever team fight, as we mentioned, you use these two spells and then you back, or maybe you get a good spell steal off, and then you use that spell and then you back off and you wait for 10 seconds until your fade bolt is off cooldown. You stick your head in, you use fade bolt, you get back again, and you wait for telekinesis to come off cooldown. You wait for a good opportunity to use telekinesis, but you stay in the back lines. You don't, as Rubick, you're not a frontliner. But right now you're making a play here. You should be making a play. Either way, you've got a telekinesis, and so fine. You use Fate Bolt, you come close, lift him, you throw him down, and then you should back off immediately. Back off immediately. And if you had done that, you don't die here. 100% you live here. 100%. But you die because you're right clicking. You're right clicking the guy. Why are you right clicking? You need to back off. That's one thing. Secondly, you could have saved. You wouldn't have died if you had actually, because you're not gonna get. I think your ult is gonna wear off by the time your spell steal is gonna wear off by the time this comes off of cooldown. So what you should have done is when you use lift, immediately, because he just used his stun. So as soon as you use lift, you steal his spell and you stun him immediately, and you don't die. But instead you don't even steal a spell, you stand around to right click him, you get harassed by creeps, you get right clicked by sniper, and you get ultied by lion and you die. So pretty big mistakes here by you. Definitely get into the habit whenever you're playing support. This is actually a huge mistake. This is game losing mistakes right here. If you play a support, you want to stay in the back lines. You want to stay hidden. You don't want to don't want to let other people know, enemy team know that you're there. You don't stay that far back in the fog, behind trees, under trees, in trees, whatever. Just hidden away, and just poke your head in, use your spells, and then get back. Like right now, what you were doing, just like for the past 2 seconds, that was good. You stole the spell, and then just stay here. Just stay hidden in trees and leech XP, that's fine. You actually shouldn't even be here. You should be here with SF, stacking the camp for him, or just staying in the back lines waiting for something to happen to help SF. But that's fine. If you're here, nothing else is happening. You're here, you should stay hidden away here. Don't tell Juggernaut that you're in vision. SF can, if you want to go on Juggernaut, then you should ask CM. Sorry, CM is already here. You should ask SF or Earthshaker to come and help you kill this Juggernaut. But definitely, what you're doing here, you keep poking your head in. You're even right clicking this full health creep. And why are you doing that? Makes no sense at all. You use Fateful, but that's what you should have done when you poke your head out. Should not be there. Like if this guy is almost running at you, if he had been running at you a lot sooner, I guarantee you that you were dead here. But he does start running at you, so let's see if he does manage to kill you, because he should be able to kill you here. And he has ult? Does he have? Okay. Big wave comes in, but yeah, that goes back to the point where Sand King is here as well. Okay, so if Sand King had stunned you earlier, or Juggernaut had ran at you earlier and ultied you, and then immediately spin, or just right click you to half health and then ulti you, you were dead. So this is what I was talking about. Like you need to stay back. You need to stay hidden away. Again, you're frontliner. You're not the frontliner, dude. You're the support. You need to stay behind everyone. You're here. They've got two cores right there. They've got a sniper and they've got an Ursa right here. And you're poking your head in as if you're like a bristleback or an axe or something. Like you're just support in the world. You need to stay as far back as possible. Just wait for an opportunity to use lift. That's all your contribution is mostly to the team fight. Lift. That's it. A 2.5 second stun, which you're not even maxing out. You're maxing Fade Bolt because you're farming. So that's a huge mistake as well. You need to not farm. You're way too farmed already. You've been taking too much farm in the game. You should be standing behind SF, helping him farm, making sure he gets a good, safe lane to farm, or stack jungle camp for him, or go around and board stuff. But what you're doing, you're roaming around as if you're like a semi-core or something. So definitely you need to understand what your role is better, and play around your role a lot more. Like, just notice what you're doing all game long. Since like you left lane at 6-7 minutes in, you're just roaming. You're literally roaming around. Still roaming instead of being around your SF.
Tower could use a hand.
And roaming would have been decent if you were warding that whole time, but CM is the one buying wards. You bought like 2 wards and that's it. CM is the one buying wards here. And this is like with the opportunity. Oh my god, you're going in again. Like you're frontlining again. Like the SF is back. SF is backing off. The PA is AFK farming, and you and this offlaner are the ones making plays. So you probably both die here. SF comes in, but he backs off because he has low mana or something, or low health. Okay, he's got no mana actually, not low mana. He's got no mana, so what he did was fine. His play was completely fine. You guys should not have been there. It's not your job to be making like solo plays like this against like 3 people, including one. Like Ursa is one of the beastliest heroes in the early game. Like he will just run at people. He does not give a shit. And you've got this offlaner who's doesn't even have ult. You've got an offlaner without an ult. What does Sand King? What does Earthshaker do? He just throws out 2 stuns and that's it. He does no damage. You do no damage. You are also disabled and like Fade Bolt every so often to reduce the damage. You guys do not kill Ursa if none of the enemy team was here anyway. You still don't kill Ursa. Ursa will kill both of you by himself. So misjudgment. And not even misjudgment, you shouldn't have been here. Doesn't matter who it is, even if it was a squishy support here that you were going on, you should not have been here. You need to stay with your core, behind your core, helping your core, not making plays, not trying to win the game by yourself. Yeah, like right here, let's see what you do. You throw a Fade Bolt, you use a telekinesis, and then back off. That's what you should do. You should Fade Bolt, telekinesis, now back off. Just back off. Don't do anything else in the fight. Maybe you can't even steal a spell. So maybe just stand here with Sandstorm on and that's it. And wait for these spells to come off cooldown. But yeah, that's fine. Just stay here. Now you've got Fade Bolt, you can use Fade Bolt if you want, but otherwise just back off. You're way too far ahead in front. You definitely should be closer to SF. Because he's the one going in. He is just free farming, AFK farming jungle and whatnot, so let her do what she's doing. You should be with people who are making plays, which is SF in this particular game. Like, it's 17 minutes in and you've got to use. Dude, you've been farming way too much this game instead of helping your SF farm. Like, look, let's look at the net worth. SF has got 5,700. Again, alright, let's first look at the farm. SF has got 5,700 and you're like maybe 500 gold away from him. That is not how it should be happening. And you probably want to blame SF, like, oh god, the guy didn't farm that well, but that's not true because the support, you're the one who enables him to farm. So if he's not farmed right now, it's not because he hasn't been farming or he's played bad. It's because you didn't make the situation, the game, you didn't make the space or whatever you want to call it. You didn't enable him to farm. You could have stacked camps for him. You could have stayed around him in mid, and every time he was like farming slightly dangerously, so that he feels a bit safer and he doesn't have to die. If somebody does come to kill him, you can use lift and you guys can get the counter kill or anything like that. But instead, you're never with SF. You're just going around doing your own thing. You're roaming around. You're finding farm and XP by yourself. Like that is not what you should be doing. Like right here. CSF, you see Lion, you see Ursa as well, you see these guys all here. You should TP immediately. Well, you should have been there to begin with, but you should TP here immediately and, help the guy out, help your core out. He's making plays here, and he keeps dying because of that. Of course, it is his fault as well that he's going out without his supports, but it's not his job to be going out with supports. It's a support's job to going with the core. And now you go to the lane and start farming the lane again. Yeah, you're definitely not playing support right here, dude. You're playing a semi-core. If you're gonna play like this, then just pick a jungler or don't play support because you're taking the farm from your cores and you're not helping them farm. Like, oh wow, you should have waited. Okay, so using your spells efficiently again. You steal Lion's ult, and you get so excited you just throw away the ult immediately on Ursa with rage and do absolutely no damage to him. So should have just waited a little bit to ulti him. Let me guess, you're in the middle of a team fight again. All right, so again, you're farming. This is a dangerous area to farm. You have no vision here, and you're farming instead of your core being farming and you standing in the back lines waiting for your core to get initiated on so you can get a counter kill. You're farming. Why are you farming here, dude? You're a support. You should not be here farming so aggressively.